Hey there Fashionistas, it's Nikita and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a segment called What's in My Toolbox. If that's not self-explanatory enough, I'm talking about this baby right here. This is my toolbox. If you are a fashion designer, well, I guess it's aspiring to be a fashion designer, or a home sewist, you would probably have a sewing box, toolbox. Oh wow, you see Warped Tour 02 shows my age right there, huh? You can see all the emo bands that I was into when I was in school. But anyway, let's get started. Today we're going to talk about scissors in particular for fashion design and for home sewing. So stick around. Okay, so the first scissor that I want to talk about is my pattern scissor. Right here. Ta-da! Now these scissors I actually got from another defunct company. I know I'm always, in my last video, if you've seen my review for a customizable dress form, I like to find out all these other companies don't exist anymore. But these are my pattern scissors. These scissors are what I use for cutting out line paper when you draft your first patterns. Now in the industry, I've actually worked in the fashion industry, both in textile and manufacturing. You would use something like this. It's got a pretty good weight. Here on the handle, it's not like your regular scissors, although I think that could be okay, but I would go with this one. These are just regular pattern scissors. Unfortunately, I can't recommend where to buy this because, like I said, the company I bought this from in downtown LA closed, but it was a company known as Vecchiarelli Brothers, and it says right here, Vibros. I've had this for more than a decade and it's still pretty sharp, so it's really good. Ta-da, I'm back! These are some garden shears. I am kidding. I know it looks scary, and it probably looks like a deadly weapon, which you may use if you get into fisticuffs, I suppose. Don't fight. But these are actually manila paper shears. Now, in the industry, after you're done with the first drafts of the pattern, you'd make a production pattern, and the production pattern is made out of manila paper. Usually when you made it was like stapled together as two sides, so that was really sturdy and easy to trace. And to cut that out, you would use this type of scissor, so that your scissors won't, I guess if you use a regular one, it will dull out, but these ones don't. And they've been with me for over a decade as well, and they're still pretty sharp. So the next thing I want to talk about, moving away from the pattern scissors or scissors for patterns in fashion design, are the sewing scissors. And I'll show you first my favorite scissor, my Gingher scissor. I got this from Joanns a long time ago. I think it needs some sharpening, but they're really good. The weight on the handles pretty good. It's comfortable enough. I mean, if you cut for a very long time, your hands are going to get tired. They're going to cramp. But these are really good scissors. I trust this brand, Gingher. Still very sharp. It's really good fabric scissors. Please do not cut anything else with your fabric scissors. Very important. It will just help the longevity of your fabric scissors. I mean, you pay a ton of money for these scissors, so take care of them. In conjunction with this, I also got, ta-da, also Gingher. I wish I was sponsored. Gingher, are you listening? These are embroidery scissors, I believe. They're from Germany, really sharp as well. What I use, because I really don't embroider, I mean, I've done some hand appliques, is for clipping. After, you pull out your garment from the machine, the threads, this is what I use. Sometimes I use a little clipper, and it takes me like 5 times just to clip the thread that's hanging, but these just 1 time. And it's really good for cutting notches and clipping into curves, you know, convex and concave curves and stuff like that. And also has a little nice case to protect it. Lastly, well, actually, maybe not the last one. This is the scissors I don't really use too much, but I have the pinking shears. Now, these ones are made by Fiskars, and you can see got this jaggedy, looks like alligator teeth edge. This one, you would use this for fabrics that you want to leave unfinished as far as the edges go. So you would use this to cut the edge, and I guess this would be the treatment. This prevents the fabric from coming apart because it kind of cuts and then kind of leaves the fabric edge in some kind of bias, but I'm not really a fan of that. It still frays. Yeah, supposedly it's not going to fray, but it still frays. I don't really like the unfinished frayed look so much on fabrics. But it's a style. It's up to you. Now this one would really work well with non-wovens, I think, like jerseys, stretchy fabrics, that stuff. I like using it for that. Lastly, we have the Rotary Cutter. Now when I worked in the industry, I never saw this in the sample room at all, but when I first went to school, fashion school, and it was the first season of Project Runway. I mean, that's when I saw a lot of usage of these rotary cutters. I got the Olfa one. It actually has a mini-me too, which I'll have to dig in my toolbox. But you know what a mini-me, you could use imagination, right? It's a really tiny one. But they're actually, in my experience, I may be wrong, they're not as ubiquitous as one might think, because I didn't see them in the sample rooms and the pattern rooms. I think these are mostly for maybe home sewers and quilters, but don't get me wrong, they're really helpful. You can get like a quilter's ruler, or whatever. I just have a see-through ruler that's 2 inches, and that's what I use. And I butt it next to it, and it's perfect for cutting straight lines. So it's kind of like a pizza cutter. It's very sharp. Be careful. And once they dull out, you can use aluminum to sharpen them. Hello there. Yeah, that's a cat making comments right here. I need to hurry this up. Okay, so that's basically what I have in my toolbox to show today. If you are interested and you want to know more what's in my toolbox, leave a comment below, subscribe to this channel, like this video. I want to hear more, because there are just so many more goodies besides this Chemical Romance 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge sticker on this toolbox. And I think there's a lot of stuff here that you might be able to use in your designing. And as always, be you, stay fabulous, and see ya!